loving Father, we thank you tonight for your Son Jesus and his life that has proven his love for each and every one of us. We know that through his ministry, the 3 years that he did minister, that he has proven that over and over again, love is undefeated in this chaotic world. We pray tonight that we would make decisions that not only are effective for your people, but in years now and in years to come will still be effective. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. We do have a full house, so the first thing I will respectfully request is that you please put your phones on silence and or turn them off out of respect for others in the chambers. Additionally, I'd like to remind everyone that we have a particular section in the agenda for public wishing to address the council. Please fill out a form if you wish to address the council to ensure that we don't miss you. And just as a special note, as we go through ordinances, I will ask for public input. So if you're wishing to speak on an ordinance, you don't necessarily need a blue sheet because I will ask for public input and you can come up and speak at that time. You will need to state your name and address for the record, and that's only so the minutes can be picked up. So it's no other reason than that. But once we get to resolutions, we'll simply deliberate among the council before we bring it to a vote. With that said, we'll jump right into tonight's meeting. Do we have any state and or federal legislators? None here. Item B, we have none tonight. Item C, proclamations. Number 1, Parish President Mitch Ogeron presented a proclamation proclaiming May 3rd through the 9th, 2026 as National Travel and Tourism Week. And with that said, Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Whereas the travel industry is essential to the success of every industry and will continue to be a critical part of Lafourche Parish's economy, development, and workforce. Whereas travel is an economic powerhouse for every state and destination across the country with an economic output of $1.3 trillion in 2025, supporting 15 million American jobs. Whereas travel spending supports vibrant and safe communities in Lafourche and across the United States by generating $3 trillion in state and $2 trillion in local revenue in 2025 to support essential services such as education, emergency response, and public safety. Whereas travel enables success for all industries, including manufacturing, agriculture, defense, healthcare, and more, by driving sales growth, innovation, education, and operations that move our economy, our nation, and Lafourche Parish forward. Whereas promoting Louisiana's Cajun Bayou, Lafourche Parish as a year-round regional, national, international travel destination is vital to our local economy, creates tax revenue not paid by the residents that fund important public services. Whereas tourism generates $137 million in visitor spending, $10 million in state taxes, and $5.2 million in local dollars in 2024. And whereas traveling spending has a direct economic impact of over $54 million and supports over 1,300 jobs in Lafourche Parish. And whereas the travel industry cannot be globally competitive without maximizing growth in leisure business and international inbound travelers, increasing travel and within the United States drives our economy to a more prosperous future, connects America. Whereas small businesses account for over 60% of leisure and hospitality employment, and whereas travel is an essential industry, and we must continue to communicate that growth, or that growing travel leads to economic growth, benefits, fostering mutual understanding, and connects our nation. Now, therefore, I, Mitch Ogeron, President of Lafourche Parish, do hereby proclaim May 3rd through 9th, 2026 as National Travel and Tourism Week. Witness thereof, I do hereunto set my signature and have caused to be affixed the official seal of the Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, on this 28th day, April 2026. And I would also like to welcome Mr. Jay Sexsnyder, who is the new CEO of Louisiana's Cajun Bayou, who will be receiving this proclamation. And this comes quite timely considering that Lieutenant Governor Nungesser was at the Joint Chamber and was talking very much about international tourism coming to Louisiana in particular and traveling not just within the city limits, but to our local areas. Thank you.
J. Sheck Snyder, 314 East 5th Street, Thibodeau. I'd like to thank the council and Parish President Ogeron for having me tonight, and the Parish Council. I'm only 6 weeks into the new job, but I've lived here in Lafourche Parish for 12 years, and I look forward in years to come to promote our parish. As the Lieutenant Governor mentioned earlier, I've worked in tourism, and I know the international people, especially the French speakers from both France and Canada, love coming and staying in Lafourche Parish, where they can hear our language, and on peut parler en français avec ça. So I hope that everyone here tonight realizes the impact of tourism, saving each household in Lafourche Parish last year, $423 per household was saved because of the tax dollars spent by people staying in our hotels, eating in our restaurants, and visiting our attractions. So thank you all.
Thank you. Item 2, Parish President Mitch Ogeron will present a proclamation proclaiming the month of May 2026 as Supervised Visitation Awareness Month. Mr. President, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Whereas children have fundamental rights to grow up in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment that support their physical and emotional and psychological well-being. And whereas programs such as the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office Supervised Visitation and Exchange Program, the Packed Place, play a vital role in protecting children while preserving family connections in situations involving safety concerns and other challenging circumstances. And whereas the Packed Place provides a secure, neutral, child-centered setting where children can safely maintain contact with non-custodial parents under trained supervision, and whereas families served often face complex challenges such as domestic violence, child abuse, substance abuse, mental health issues, and high conflict resolutions requiring structured, safety-focused support. And whereas separation from a parent in these situations can cause fear, confusion, grief, and emotional distress that may impact a child's well-being and development. And whereas research demonstrates that children are able to maintain safe and structured connections with parents, experience greater emotional stability, reduced anxiety, and healthier long-term outcomes. Whereas the dedicated and trained professionals of the Packed Place provide compassionate, trauma-informed support that helps children feel safe, supported, and heard. And whereas raising awareness of safe, supervised visitation services reduces stigma, strengthens community understanding, and encourages families to seek needed support. Now, therefore, I, Mitch Ogeron, President of Lafourche Parish, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as Supervised Visitation Awareness Month in Lafourche Parish, and encourage all citizens and community partners to recognize the importance of safe visitation services and to support the Packed Place in protecting children, promoting healing, and strengthening families. I also invite the community to join me by wearing orange on May 12, 2026. In witness thereof, I do hereunto set my signature and have caused to be affixed the official seal of the Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, on this 28th day of April, 2026.
May is the open house.
Good afternoon. I'm Pam Guidry, 710 Church Street, Lockport, Louisiana. President Orgeron and council members, thank you for allowing us to be here tonight and for proclaiming May as Supervised Visitation Awareness Month. Imagine being a child who deeply loves a parent but also feels afraid, a child who has lived through loud arguments, conflict, and uncertainty, yet still wants to laugh, play, and feel close with the other parent. When that child walks into a supervised visitation setting, their heart's racing. They are watching, listening, and hoping that the adults in the room will notice if something feels wrong and step in to help them feel safe again. For these children, supervised visitation is more than just a place. It's a critical space where safety, structure, and support come together during one of the most difficult times of their lives. At the Pack Place Supervised Visitation Center, which is a program of the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office, our mission is to ensure that children are not just present during visits, but that they are truly seen, supported, and protected. It feels especially meaningful that we stand here today on National Superhero Day, because protecting children takes all of us, whether you are the Pack Place staff, elected officials as yourself, or members of the community. Each of us has the power and the ability to be a hero in a child's life. We invite you to join us for our community open house on Tuesday, May 12th from 3 to 6 at 710 Church Street in Lockport. Invitations have been placed at your seatings. We also encourage you to wear orange that day in honor of Supervised Visitation Month and to show support to many children and families. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to item D, presentations and our updates. Item 1, Mr. Michael Boudreau, Lafourche Parish Register of Voters, to address the council regarding early voting. You got the mic, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Mitch, Parish President, Council. I'm just here to let the people of South Lafourche know that we'll be voting back at the Lafourche Government Complex. After 5.5 years moving the voters around, I would like to thank a few people. I would like to thank the people of the LaRose Civic Center, Ms. Meyer, Mr. Thomas. I'd like to thank the people of the Veterans Memorial and their board and staff of Mr. Kevin and his daughter Elise. I'd also like to thank Mr. Chet Chasson with the Port Commission, offered me a place to vote for the last 2 years. I'd also like to thank Mayor Beauregard for offering us an office when we didn't have an office here down the bayou. But I personally want to thank Ms. DeLynn and Mr. Daniel for helping me find locations for early voting sites also. I just would like to go over, if y'all have any questions about this closed primary. Okay, Republicans vote Republican ticket, Democrats vote Democrat ticket, all no party, which we have right now in Lafourche Parish, we have 26,000 Republicans, we have 17,000 no parties, and we have 14,000 Democrats. That being said, the Dems vote the Dems, the Republicans vote the Republican. All no parties will have to fill out a declaration before they get to the book to sign or get in the voting machine. So please have patience with the registrar staff early voting, the voting commissioners on election day, and the whole staff of elections, because it's going to take a lot of time and people need patience. And other than that, I'm here if y'all have any questions. If not,
Anyone got any questions on Mike? So our clerk of court did come here and kind of explain it to us.
She did.
Which I'm glad she did, because it is kind of confusing, something new.
It will be. Please know your party affiliate before you get to the polls. And you can go to Go Vote app, GEAUX, put your name, your information, and you can know your party before you even get to the polls. Save a lot of time for a lot of people. Mr.
Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Mike. For the no party, that form, is that something they can have done, it has to be done?
At the polls,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Just for
Either early voting
clarification,
week
just want
or
everybody
at
to
the
know.
precincts on election day. It's going to be nice and colored, though, Mark.
No, that's good.
Oh, I'm just saying. Okay?
All right.
Anything else, people?
I think that's it. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Mitch. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And item 2 I have is the Hospital Service District Number 2 Board's 2025 Annual Report on Oshner St. Anne. They just want it to be noted in the record that they had submitted their annual report, which they have. So no one is here to give a presentation on that. Brings us to item E, Engineers and Architect Reports. You have the mic, Stevie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Stevie Smith with All South Engineers, 5300 Highway 311 in Houma. So I have a couple of projects, active projects for the parish. I'm going to give you a report on. The first one is our Alador Pump Station project. So this is a project where we built a new pump station behind Alador. There's two 30-inch pumps that have been installed. The pump station has been completed. We did a final walkthrough for this project on April 20th. And basically the station is up and functioning. We do have a balance and change order for this project that's on the agenda tonight. It's about a $15,000 balancing change order, which at the end of the projects, we always have some kind of a change order that kind of squares up all the numbers. This particular project itself is about a 4.1, the pump station is about a $4.1 million project. So when we got a $15,000 change order, it's still $15,000, but it's relatively minor considering the scale of the project itself. This project was actually built in two phases. The first phase is where we did the borings underneath the railroad at the back of Alador. We put 3 new discharge pipes under the railroad a few years ago, and then we came back and built the pump station in the last year. So that's why you see 2 phases on the slide. And we put this together just to emphasize to the council that it's about a $5.2 million total effort to rebuild that pump station. The parish applied for and received about $3.8 million from the state to pay for it. So the parish chipped in $1.3 million out of your pocket. So that's actually a pretty good deal that we applied for the statewide flood control program to get some dollars for that. So financially, it ends up being a good deal to get about a $5.1 million station for about $1.3 million in local dollars. The next project I have on the list, I'm sorry, here's just a couple of pictures of the pump station. I know Councilman Araby is not here. He certainly is very familiar with the old pump station that was there. It did not look anything like these pictures. This thing is much, much better than what was at the back of the subdivision before that. And it actually was built so it could house 3 pumps. We only installed 2, but if in the future there's a need for another pump, we have a way to install another pump at relatively low cost. The next project is some improvements in the Zalmans. Along Bayou Road in the Zalmans, there have, for years now, there has been standing water after rain events.
Stevie, let me cut in just for one second. Let the record reflect at 17:20 hours that Terry Araby has walked in the chambers. And unless someone objects, I would respectfully request that you just mention Alador Pump Station again, because he would have had questions, I'm sure.
I was hoping to get out of this thing.
It'll only take you a second.
The MTC right there, I was going to get out of this thing.
No, this is his baby, and I appreciate it.
Very, very quickly. And Councilman Araby and I have spoken a little bit as this project has matured. But again, Alador is basically finished. 2 30-inch pumps been installed at the back of Alador, brand new pump station, new discharge pipes through the railroad. So again, the last act is a balance and change order that's on the agenda tonight, a little bit later in the agenda. But the pump station is basically completed and functioning. The other project that I was on was the Zalmans drainage project. So this project is meant to address some repeated standing water issues along Bayou Road in the Zalmans. And the project is to basically regrade the road so that the road drains properly. The rainwater is going to fall off the road instead of getting collected on the roadway itself. And we're also going to close off. There are several drains that drain from the road into Bayou des Almonds. We're going to close those off because those won't be necessary because the water is then just going to run off of the roadway, off the roadway when it rains. So this project, we actually solicited quotes in March of this year. We got 3 quotes. Norris and Boudreaux was the lowest quote at $180,000. We're working with Norris and Boudreaux to get the contract paperwork squared away. As recently as today, we had them sending us their insurance paperwork. So as soon as we get that in, we'll get those guys started. It's really not going to take very long to do this, probably going to be a 60-day project at the most. And again, if you've been in developments after rain, this is kind of what it looks like. The water just sits on the road, so we're going to regrade the road. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
So you say you did the final walkthrough at Alley Door findings?
No problems.
Everything good?
Everything good.
Got your stamp of approval?
Yes.
All right.
And more importantly, DOTD, who's the one that put up the $3.8 million.
Very good. Anyone has any questions of Stevie? All good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any other architect or engineers? All right. Brings us to item F, public wishing to address the council, public hearings, agenda items, et cetera. Ms. Carleen.
Mr. Mark Nakhan, you come to the podium, Mr. Nakhan. And you can move the mic to you if you get on the side, right there. State your name and address for the record, please. Remember, you have 3 minutes. Got
I'm
it?
Mark Nakhan. I live at 143 Rue Chateau in Thibodeau. I'm here to speak about the Fifth Ward Drainage District. I'm a sugarcane farmer in Thibodeau. And in January of 2021, I became involved in the proposal process of the Edwina Mitigation Bank in an effort to demonstrate that the original proposal by the parish government would be detrimental to my sugarcane production as well as the general drainage in the entire area. I engaged with a professional engineering firm and a professional law firm to evaluate the potential impact that the Edwina Mitigation Bank would have on the entire drainage system. What followed was 2 years of negotiation between the Army Corps of Engineers, the North Lafourche Levee District, landowners, Fifth Ward Drainage District, and among others. The Army Corps of Engineers specifically included the Fifth Ward Drainage District by name in all correspondences concerning the review process. The Fifth Ward held historically servitudes through the mitigation bank area, which gave them input over which ditches and easements needed to be continued or expanded before the project was agreed to. In November of 2020, these negotiations were finalized to the satisfaction of all the parties. But the project had been delayed for 2 years while landowners and Fifth Ward fought to preserve citizens' input into the drainage matters that affected them. Then in March of 2023, the parish held a special election calling for the discontinuation of a November 2017 tax authorized by the voters in the late 60s and renewed every 10 years since. Then in June, the council proposed the abolishment of the Fifth Ward Drainage District. Despite the council's effort, the Fifth Ward is still in existence and hoping to be able to continue advocating for the residents of the Fifth Ward. Could this be retaliation?
So Mr. Tebow
For
extends, hold on, Mr.
interfering-
Duncan. So you've passed your 3 minutes, but Mr. Tebow is going to relinquish a little bit more time for you, sir.
Okay. Could this be retaliation for interfering with parish business and the Edwina Bank by the parish government? Maybe. So I'm here, I know there's a proposal to take all the power away tonight from the Fifth Ward Drainage District. I'm not in favor of it. And thank the council for letting me talk, and all the council members who helped us with the Fifth Ward Drainage District and And the ones that went against us, if you would have knew the facts and the right information, you wouldn't have went against us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone has any questions for Mr. Nakhan? No? We're good. Thank you, sir.
Miss Nancy Oden, if you'd approach the podium. State your name and address for the record, Miss Nancy. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
This thing work. Okay, hello, I'm Nancy Oden. I live at 275 Donald Drive, and I am a current board member of the 5th Ward Drainage District. And I would like to address the item 23 regarding the removal of 5th Ward board members and approval of parish officials concerning signing authority on all accounts and relevant documents concerning the drainage district. I might add that this would be retroactive to March 26th, and I'm curious as to why that might be. So why now? As Mark said, in the late 1960s, the 5th Ward Gravity Drainage District was established, which imposed a tax on the 5th Ward paid solely by those residents to supplement drainage maintenance in their area. This did not replace parish drainage responsibility. This tax was renewed every 10 years up to and including 2017 and should have continued through 2027. But in 2023, as part of a special election, the entire parish was allowed to vote to discontinue this tax in the middle of its active cycle. 5th Ward residents voted in opposition of this proposal, but the parish carried the vote to discontinue the tax. Our 5th Ward constituents wanted us to continue to provide services, and we were able to for 2 years without tax revenue because we had a surplus. But in December 2025, those surplus funds were finally depleted. The 5th Ward donated all equipment to either the North Lafourche Levee District or to the parish. So now we have no money, no equipment, and no employees. But we do still represent our residents and would like to continue to advocate for their drainage needs. So I ask, why now? Again, could it be because the 5th Ward Board still has authority over historic servitudes? Could these impact the Rienzi mitigation project that has not gotten a lot of public notice? So why now? And why retroactive? Has something already been signed that was actively under 5th Ward authority? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. No questions. Thank you.
Mr. Charlie Bourgeois, if you'd come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes, Mr. Bourgeois.
My name is Charlie Bourgeois, 418 Rue Grand Chien, Thibodaux, Louisiana. I was employed by 5th Ward Drainage District for 9.5 years. My principal responsibilities were right-of-way maintenance, digging with the long-reach excavators on the outfall canals, and maintenance of the equipment. We always strive to be proactive rather than reactive. My concern with 5th Ward being dissolved has to do with the residents of the district having their drainage needs met and the right-of-ways that were dedicated to 5th Ward. These right-of-ways need to be of adequate footage with the implementation of these mitigation banks. Before these banks are signed off on and to proceed, careful consideration of these topside right-of-ways should be sufficient footage to be able to operate a long-reach excavator and also to allow for the spoil to be deposited on this said right-of-way. So a 30-foot topside right-of-way on smaller ditches and 45-foot minimum on larger ditches and canals should be sufficient. From my past experience with these mitigation banks, it seems that drainage is an afterthought and not a primary focus. So if y'all have any questions, thank y'all.
Anyone has any questions? Mr. Melvin, you have the floor, sir. Sure.
Thank y'all for coming, because I know y'all were curious about this item. I'm going to address it later, but I had a couple questions for the administration later on during the meeting. But from what I asked them previously, this was just to pay some bills, but I will get into it a little later when it comes up for item 23. Okay, so.
Ms. Dana Adams?
So, Ms. Dana, if you want to wait till the ordinance, you can actually speak at the ordinance.
Good.
Is that the same? We'll do the same thing for all the others?
This is all the smoking.
Yeah, so the rest of the sign-in sheets we have are for the smoking, for us allowing smoking in the bars. If anyone wants to speak now because they have to leave, you're welcome to speak now, or you can wait until that ordinance is called, which would probably be the more appropriate location. We good?
Good.
No, she's with something else, but it's an ordinance, so she can speak at the ordinance. Yeah. All right, we just want to make sure we have that all correct. All right, with that said, we'll move to item G, approval of minutes. Item 3, I now entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the April 14, 2026 regular sessions. So moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Perk. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item H, public hearing and ordinances for ratification. I now entertain a motion to open public hearing. So moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Lorraine. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 4, let me see. Give me 1 second here. Mr. Pierce has asked if we could deviate. I know there are other people who want to talk on these other ones, but he's asked if he can entertain a motion. We'll probably be on that for a bit, but do you want to go ahead and make a motion to deviate?
Well, if we could be done in time.
Yeah, in a few minutes. Yeah, okay. So we'll move with the agenda. All right, got it. So item 4, ordinance establishing a 20 miles per hour speed limit on Cedar Street, Racine, Louisiana, Ward 3, District 6, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of a speed limit sign on Cedar Street between Twin Oaks Drive and Cypress Street, and providing penalties for the violations thereof. So moved by Mr. Araby, second by Mr. Lorraine. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 4? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 4. Last and final call. Anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at number 4? Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 5, ordinance amending ordinance numbers 6064, 6335, and 6842, reducing the speed limit from 25 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour on Colony Station, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 1, District 1, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of speed limit signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. So moved by Mr. Brumfield, second by Mr. Perk. And with that said, we have an amendment from the floor to item 5. Mr. Perk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, amendment on item number 5. This amendment is simply to correct the district number from District 1 to District 3 throughout the document.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a second for that amendment? Second by Mr. Brumfield. Just so everyone is clear, we're simply striking out district number 1 to district number 3. So with that said, would anyone from the public like to comment on the amendment? This is just changing the district. Second call, public input on the amendment. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the amendment. Anyone from the council wants to discuss the amendment? Everyone's clear? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Now we will vote on the original ordinance number 5 as amended. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance as amended? Second call, public input, ordinance as amended. Yes, this is the right one.
That's the right one.
I'm glad. Yeah, she was poking me, and I was steady reading. So, if you don't mind, just state your name and your address for the record. Miss Rachel, can you put it live? Okay, you're live.
Hi, my name's Dana Adams. I'm reside at 201 Colony Station, Thibodaux, Louisiana. I do want to apologize because I thought DJ was our councilman, but I appreciate your time, DJ. So I do live 2 houses away from Michelle Street and Colony Station. And we have no four-way stop sign right there. It is like Highway 90 down our street. So on Talbot, we just had the wreck with the school bus. Well, we have an issue with people going from Talbot all the way to the back of the subdivision and back flying. I mean, we can yell at them, they don't care, okay? There's, we did get it approved to put the children at play signs, but we would love if they can reduce it and also put a four-way stop sign, because people use that as a right-of-way to get like to the Waverly Apartments in that area, and then sometimes they skip our street. There's, the next street, so they turn left, and you could see the ruts in where they pull. They don't stop. So I believe that would also slow down if they have to come to a four-way stop sign. I did get in touch with the sheriff's office before Mardi Gras. They did send somebody out. They were supposed to send somebody to run radar, but then Mardi Gras came around. So I really wish that y'all do consider lowering the speed limit and also putting a four-way stop sign.
Ms. Dana, I need to comment that Councilman Pierce has left the chambers at 17:38 hours. Sorry.
That's good.
So does anyone have any questions or comments for Ms. Dana? Nope.
Thank
None?
you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, I think I was on my third call for public input, but last call, anyone from the public would like to comment on this ordinance as amended? All right. Yes, sir. Yeah, so it's, right, so it just was a comment through her just stating that, on her behalf, that people are flying speed limit wise. All right, so council, so Mr. Perk, if you can take the mic, y'all know I'm going to want to comment on four-way stops. You want to press it, I'll recognize you.
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Went from 25 to 15.
All right, so this is only 25. I'm sorry. I'll reserve to the next one. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so with that said, if no one wants to comment, no discussion among the council on this ordinance as amended, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays. One person has left the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Good? Yes, sir. All right. Item 6. Ordinance establishing a four-way stop at the intersection of College Station and Michelle Place, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 1, District 1, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the necessary four-way stop signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Moved by Mr. Brumfield, seconded by Mr. Adams. And on this one, Mr. Perk has an amendment from the floor. Go ahead, Mr. Perk.
Yes, we'll have an amendment on this one as well. It's to correct the district number from District 1 to District 3 throughout the document. And this was just with the redistricting. That's how it was. Still an old map was looked at, because it is kind of wonky up in that area. So, need to say the least.
Very good. So we have an amendment from the floor by Councilman Perk to change from District 1 to District 3. Can I get a second? I got a second by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the amendment, which is only changing the district? Second call, public input on changing the districts. Last and final call. Anyone from the public wants to comment on this amendment? Anyone from the council? Everyone's clear? Bring it to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, and one member that has left the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Now we will vote on the ordinance as amended. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance as amended? You good? You good? I think we're clear. If anyone has any questions, though, he can certainly ask you if you would respectfully come back up. Second call, anyone from the public wish to comment on this ordinance? Last and final call, anyone from the public wish to comment on this ordinance? Anyone from the council? So this one, I'll relinquish the mic to Mr. Perk, just so I can make my comments. So as y'all know, I'm not a four-way stop sign person. Every DOTD publication that comes out there, four-way stops are not supposed to be used for speed limit control. We verify that many a times. It's an enforcement issue. And I get it. We want to try anything and everything that we can to try to slow people down. However, this particular one, there's only like 2 residents on each cross street, so it's really a stop sign only to slow people down. There's no other reason for it. And just to refresh everybody who's maybe fresh here, but I was involved where I nearly killed a person where they threw up a four-way stop sign that I didn't know was there on a 35 mile an hour, and I hit that person doing 35 and I T-boned them. And it was just something that popped up. There should have never been a stop sign there to begin with. But if this passes, I would respectfully request that we do everything in our power to make sure that the residents there are aware. Because some of these subdivisions, people live a mile further down the road, and if you just pop up a stop sign that they're not used to, they've been driving for years, it becomes a huge hazard. So for that very reason, I won't be, because I don't want to be part of that liability, and just, it's an enforcement issue. We just need more enforcement to slow the public down. With that said, so with that said, any further discussion among the council? Mike, you good? All right. We'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed say nay. Nay. Nays, raise your hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So motion 1, 2, 3.
3 yeas, 4 nays.
No, we had 4. So the motion fails. Motion fails with 4 yeas. Those yeas being Mr. Brumfield, Mr. Adams, Mr. Melvin, and Mr. Lorraine. And nays being Ms. Chesson, Mr. Araby, Mr. Otan, and Mr. Perk. And 1 person being out of chambers, that being Mr. Pierce.
So item fails.
Yeah. So the 4-way stop fails, the speed limit, and I would respectfully request that we relay to the sheriff's office about an enforcement issue on that street. All right, with that said, we'll jump to item 7. Ordinance rescinding ordinance number 7091 as it pertains to prohibiting smoking and vaping in specified areas of the parish of Lafourche. Motion by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 7? Ms. Carlene, just read them off.
Ms. John Trustclair, if you'd come to the podium, state your name and address, Ms. Trustclair. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Trostclair, 6004 Alma Street, Houma, Louisiana. I own 2 bars in Lafourche Parish, the Outer Limits Bar on Highway 90 and Long Shots on 3185 in Thibodeau. So we're told that we can't smoke in the bars, but if that happens, I'll be out of business at Outer Limits, for one. Let's keep the money in Lafourche, because I'm going to give you an example. Frank's went non-smoking. I got those customers. They're mostly from St. Charles Parish, but they live right in the Zalmans on the other side. So we got that money coming in to Lafourche, and they owe people, they're veterans. I put up my money. This supports me. I give to the American Cancer Society. I give to St. Mary's. Let's keep the money in Lafourche. If y'all ban smoking, that means I'm not selling cigarettes, less sales. 30% of my customers at Outer Limits are probably non-smokers. I'm a non-smoker. Believe it or not, I'm a non-smoker. Been in the bar business for 20 years. But I think as a business owner, when I signed that lease, my customers could smoke. They could play video poker. I think that it should be to the business. Let us run our business, y'all run the parish, and we just asking to have a fair ground. We just want to stay in business. So if y'all go to non-smoking, my customers are to go to St. Charles Parish, or Terrebonne, or Assumption. Do we want to send Lafourche Parish sales dollars to another parish? Did y'all think about that? Did y'all think about people's income, our employees? You know, but y'all shut one more down. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all listening.
You're welcome to say more if you want, Ms. Jeannie. You're welcome to.
What I was to say, but it's probably, so what's next? If the mothers of drunk drivers come and want to shut down alcohol in Lafourche, you ought to shut it down because the American Cancer Society came to shut down smoking in a bar? I mean, it doesn't stop. Let the local owners decide. Yes, those customers that doesn't want to smoke, they're not coming. Bars are a habit. You get in a habit, just like going to church. You go to 4 o'clock Mass every Saturday, you go to 4 o'clock Mass every Saturday. We got some people that come every Tuesday. Oh, old man Joe. It's just all about habit. COVID killed us. It took us almost 5 years to get our business back after COVID because the government shut us out. Don't do it to us again. That's all I'm asking. I'm asking y'all to be fair. Thank you.
Yeah, so Jeannie, I think, all right, let's keep decorum, please. So, Ms. Jeannie, Mr. Adams does have a question. He's right here. He has a question for you.
I need to go up.
No,
No, you're good. You're good, Jeannie.
So you sell tobacco?
I sell tobacco.
That was my answer. That was my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Okay.
Miss Angie Dozer, if you come to the podium, state your name and address. Please remember you have 3 minutes, Ms. Dozer.
I've never done this before, so bear with me.
We're one of you.
Welcome, everyone. I'm a citizen in Lafourche Parish.
Name and address, Ms.
My
Dozer.
name is Angela Dorr. I live at 3609 Highway 1 in Raceland. Okay, I worked for Miss Jeannie for almost 15 years. I know, I smoke. And to have to leave your customers to go outside to smoke is not right. You guys are taxing these cigarettes, but you aren't giving the people a break. You know what I mean? You keep raising the rates for you guys, but you're not doing it for the customers. We all want a place that we want to be able to enjoy, and if we want to smoke, we smoke. There's too many bars that do not serve or let you smoke, so let them be that. But the ones that do, give them that fair chance. Because you guys, we vote on you guys. So give us that chance to make sure you guys do something right for us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chad Cowie, am I right? Yes. Okay. State your name and address. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
I'm Chad Cowie. I reside at 2117 Bayou Bend Road in New Iberia. I have the 3 Cash Magic truck stop video poker casinos in the parish, one up here in Raceland, La Rose, and Galliano. I'm speaking today because of my first-hand experience on the negative impact of a smoking ban on casinos. In August of 2021, the city of Shreveport, Louisiana, implemented a smoking ban on casinos. In the first 12 months, our truck stop casino experienced a 15% decline in gaming revenue and head counts. And the Riverboat Casino saw a decrease of 28%, and we also laid off 10% of our workforce. In June of 2023, the smoking ban was repealed due to a decline in the city's revenues from gaming. 12 months after the repeal, our revenue and head counts were back to normal trends, and we were back to a full force in labor. In July of 2015, the city of Sulphur, Louisiana, implemented a smoking ban. In the first month, our truck stop casino experienced a 30% decline in gaming revenues and head counts. 2 months later, the city repealed the smoking ban due to a decline in the city's revenue for gaming. After a couple of weeks, our revenues and head counts were back to normal trends. All of our customers and employees choose to visit and work at our establishments. Lafourche Parish borders many parishes with casinos, and none of those parishes have a smoking ban. In 2025, Lafourche Parish generated $2.9 million in gaming tax revenue from video poker. A 15% decrease in gaming revenue would mean a loss of $435,000 in revenue to the parish from gaming. I think one thing we can all agree on is we do not want to see the parish lose $1 in revenue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Lacy Lamartina, if you come to the podium, state your name and address, and please remember you have 3 minutes.
My name is Lacey Lamartina. I reside at 116 St. Michael Street in Thibodeau. Lacey Lamartina at 116 St. Michael Street in Thibodeau. Thank you all for your time. So I help manage Grove's Place in Thibodeau, and I'm in and out frequently, but I've gotten to know many of our regular customers over time. Grove's isn't just a bar. It's a place where our surrounding neighbors come to relax, play pool, and spend time with familiar faces. For many, especially our retirees and veterans, it's a part of their daily routine and their sense of community. Our patrons have created a family within our bar, and because of that, we open every holiday to make sure that they actually have a place to celebrate. I want to be clear. We understand that there are public health concerns, and we're not dismissing that. But this ordinance feels like an overstep, because it takes away the ability of individual bar owners to make decisions that fit their specific customer base. Bars like ours serve a different kind of crowd than restaurants or larger venues, and one-size-fits-all policy doesn't reflect that reality. Our patrons have already expressed that they would choose to not come at all if they couldn't smoke, or they would just go to outside parishes where they do allow smoking. That has real consequences. Small bars operate on thin margins, and even a small shift in customer habits can have a big impact, not just on business owners, but on employees and our local economy. If people take their business elsewhere, Lafourche Parish loses that revenue. We also recognize that national organizations are a part of this conversation, but they don't always represent the unique needs and economic realities of our local community. At the end of the day, this comes down to local control and personal choice. We're simply asking that the decision to allow smoking remain with each individual establishment so we can best serve the people who support us. This is our parish, and the people who live and work here should have a meaningful voice in decision-making about how we make a living. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Eric Weinzettel, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Very good. Thanks. And welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Eric Weinzettel. I live at 14066 Winterset Drive. That's in Greenwell Springs, Louisiana. I represent the American Lung Association. We're the leading organization promoting lung health across the nation, and I'm the Director of Advocacy here in Louisiana. Just a history on the Smoke-Free Act here in Louisiana. It was passed nearly 20 years ago in 2007, where the state decided it weighed the idea of public health benefit versus potential impact to business, and it banned smoking in all places except for two, and that was in bars and gaming facilities. What it did do did allow municipalities, parishes, and townships to enact their own ordinances, of which over 30 have done so. I'm originally from Alexandria, Louisiana. We were one of the first municipalities to pass this ordinance, and I'm happy to say that our bar and gaming facilities are thriving. Smoking is the leading cause of preventable death in the United States in Louisiana. Smoking is the leading cause, including secondhand smoke, is the leading cause of lung cancer. Lung cancer is the most fatal cancer in our state and in the nation. What this ordinance, or what the ordinance that was passed back in January does is not anti-smoker and is not anti-business. It does not stop smokers from being employed. It does not stop a smoke-free area to be set up outside. It simply stops secondhand smoke from harming people who visit bars and people who work at bars. We're talking about freedom of choice. What we're talking about is you have the right to choose to smoke. I do wish we lived in a society where nobody smoked, but that's not the reality we live in. But we do have a duty to the people who do not smoke, who do not consent to have secondhand smoke inhaled, which gives them the chance to have lung cancer as well as other respiratory effects. A couple things to mention. We were sad to see that Shreveport did repeal their ordinance. We did see a lot, the trend going down for gaming facilities in Shreveport, but it was across the board, and it was largely related to COVID. Whenever they did repeal it, they only did it for riverboat casinos. It did not impact the ban that was on gaming facilities and truck stop casinos in the Shreveport area. So I'm glad to see that the business did bounce back. However, the smoke-free ban still is in place. So I urge you to stick to the ordinance that was passed previously and to stick to your promise to the Lafourche Parish residents to protect their health. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Emily Krupp, you come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Hey, y'all, good to see you again. My name is Emily Krupp. I live at 127 Kramer Bayou Road in Thibodaux, Louisiana, which is District 2. Thank you guys so much for giving me the opportunity to speak again tonight. I've been here the last 2 times we talked about this, and I'll be here every single time that we talk about this because I care about what's going on. I'm here because I'm deeply concerned that this council is considering repealing a smoke-free ordinance that you all unanimously voted to pass 2 months ago. The science has not changed in the past 2 months. There is still no safe level of secondhand smoke. There is still no ventilation system or filter that makes secondhand smoke harmless. The only way to protect people in shared indoor spaces is to keep those indoor spaces smoke-free. So the question before you tonight is not whether the ordinance is justified. It is, but it is whether you are willing to stand by the decision that you already made. This issue falls hardest on the workers, people who work long hours in bars and casinos who do not have the option to simply walk away from that secondhand smoke exposure. They don't get to choose a different business to patron because they are there working to make money to pay their mortgage, to pay their rent. We have talked about economic development in the parish. We have talked about the money that these bars bring in. There are people that are working there that want these jobs to continue, that want to be safe while they are at work. There are people that don't want to smoke, that need money to pay their rent. That is why they are there. It is especially troubling to consider rolling back this would be a basic workplace what would be a basic workplace protection after workers have already been promised that safety 2 months ago. Repealing it now would break that promise that you made to your constituents. I understand that some business owners have raised concerns. I, for one, Outer Limits is the closest bar to me. I would love to go to Outer Limits if it was smoke-free. I go through the drive-through now because I can't go inside and enjoy it. I would love to go in. I would love to play pool. And we're seeing that as a growing trend. As a younger person that lives and works and stays in Lafourche Parish, that is what I would like to see in my businesses going forward so I could enjoy it just as much as everybody else does. This ordinance was never about controlling personal choice. If you'd like to smoke, step outside and do so. It was about ensuring that no one has to sacrifice their health just to earn a living. Clean air is not an unreasonable expectation, it is a basic one. I urge you to stand by your previous vote, to stand by the workers in Lafourche Parish, and to vote against repealing this smoke-free ordinance. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Ms. May Hitt, if you'd come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
May Hitt, 2797 Highway 182, Raceland. I come to you before you tonight as a nurse of 47 years in Lafourche Parish, and I am out throughout the community in Lafourche Parish helping to make it a healthier place, and also as a 27-year volunteer for the American Cancer Society, having lobbied in Washington, D.C. and Louisiana for the Clean Indoor Act. So naturally, I was thrilled to hear that y'all had passed the ordinance in January regarding prohibiting smoking in additional places. And again, Emily has already spoken about secondhand smoke and the things that it does. You know, I was very disappointed to hear that you wanted to rescind the ordinance because we were taking a great step forward allowing the passage of this ordinance. You know, so just a short thing I want to leave with you. As a nurse of 47 years, when I first started my nursing career years ago, one of the most devastating things to me was this elderly gentleman who was dying, and he had been a smoker all his life. And he was struggling to breathe. It was a late night shift, and we had him on oxygen. He was at the end. There was nothing else we could do for him. But his words to me was, if I just had a jar of Vic Salve to rub on my chest, I think I would be able to breathe. And it was poor gentleman, it was beyond help at this time. So smoking, whether it's the person smoking themselves or secondhand smoke, I've seen the reality of how it affects the health of people. So I ask you, please do not rescind ordinance 7091. Thank you.
Ms. Alice Klein, if you come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please remember you have 3 minutes.
My name is Alice Klein, and I am the Louisiana Government Relations Director for the American Cancer Society, and I live in Baton Rouge. So as the State Government Relations Director for ACS, I want to thank each of you for taking action to protect the health of the workers and patrons at local bars and casinos by enacting a comprehensive smoke-free ordinance in January. Workers deserve the right to breathe smoke-free air 3 months ago, and they still deserve it now. This rescission, if passed, would move the city backwards. As you know, exposure to secondhand smoke causes many of these same tobacco-related diseases as active smoking, including heart disease, stroke, and cancer. There is no safe level of exposure. The Surgeon General has said that smoke-free workplace policies are the only way to prevent secondhand smoke exposure at work. Separating people who smoke from those who don't, cleaning the air and ventilating the building cannot prevent exposure if people still smoke inside the building. Comprehensive smoke-free laws aren't just good for health, they are also good for the economy. Existing research strongly indicates that smoke-free laws are good for businesses, for workers, and for customers. Research published in leading scientific journals has shown consistently and conclusively that smoke-free laws have no adverse effects on the hospitality industry. Annually, smoking is estimated to cost Louisiana $2.19 billion in direct healthcare costs, including $863 million in Medicaid costs. Additionally, residents pay $1,383 per household in state and federal taxes from smoking-caused government expenditures, whether they smoke or not. In addition, more smoking means more economic burdens for casinos, including absenteeism, lost productivity, and increased maintenance and insurance costs that affect their bottom line. It is vital that comprehensive smoke-free policies are in place to reduce private and taxpayer-funded healthcare costs. I urge you to keep your promise to protect the health of your community by ensuring that the comprehensive smoke-free ordinance remains in effect. The American Cancer Society supports everyone's right to breathe smoke-free air. No one should have to choose between their health and a paycheck. We strongly oppose this effort to repeal the smoke-free ordinance to allow smoking in bars and casinos. Please keep your promise to protect Lafourche Parish's bar and casino workers. Thank you. And I would also like to add one more comment to back up what Mr. Weinzettel from the Lung Association said. We did work on passing that smoke-free ordinance in Shreveport. After the ordinance passed, revenues went down, but that was consistent with COVID. Casino revenues were down all over the state. When that ordinance was repealed, it was only repealed for the riverboat casinos, and it's still in place for truck stop casinos, and their revenue has since bounced back. Thank you.
Ms. Melina Billiot, if you'd come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Melina Billiot, 506 Supercharged Drive in Thibodaux, Louisiana. Before I read this, I want to add in that just remember 3 months ago when y'all voted on this ordinance, y'all did not hear any of us. We were not notified. None of us knew that this was being spoken of. Therefore, none of us were here to speak on our side, the business owners and the bartenders and managers. So we are here tonight to speak to you guys. My name is Melina Billiot. I am the owner of Tenfold Tavern located in Chack Bay. I've been in the bar business for 12 years, between bartending, managing, and owning. No smoking and vaping in bars and casinos in our parish will decrease customer base and revenue. I personally have witnessed non-smoking venues struggle and fail in the past. Employees will be subjected to reduced income and gratuities and/or unemployment. Bars and casinos will incur additional costs if forced to become non-smoking venues, whether it is structure changes to the building, hiring additional staff for security in non-smoking areas, or providing smoking employees with breaks. Lafourche Parish smoking customers will go out of parish, and out-of-parish smoking customers will no longer choose to visit our parish venues. I am already being told this by several of my customers. Our parish is continuously looking to gain and reallocate tax revenue. Revenue for these venues will decrease, which will in turn cause Lafourche Parish tax revenue to also decrease. Programs that benefit from this revenue, such as education, law enforcement, maintenance and repair to roads, and infrastructure, will also be affected. Our community has many non-smoking venues. 13 bars throughout our parish are non-smoking, not including restaurants, which fall under the Clean Air Act. I ask you, our elected parish council members, to revisit this decision and allow the choice to be ours as adult community members of Lafourche Parish. Thank you.
Ms. Rachel Knockin. Oh, I'm sorry.
What was her name? Ms. Billiard.
Ms. Melina Billiard.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Never mind. We're good. Yeah, T-Boo, so before we discuss, we definitely want to let everyone say their piece, though.
Well, I
Go
was
ahead.
asking, we did put this out, right? It is published. It is public
Yes.
knowledge that it is out. So yes, it is there.
Yep.
It is broadcast.
Miss Rachel.
Yes.
Hey, my name is Rachel Knockin. I live at 155 DeRocha Street in Thibodaux. I'm here to speak on the smoking and vaping ban in our parish.
Miss Rachel, hold on one second, because I need to let the record reflect that Councilman Melvin stepped out the chambers at 18:08 hours. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Continue.
So I am a non-smoking mom of 4 girls and a bartender. I don't support this ban, which affects me in a genuine way. Bartending isn't just my occupation, but it's also my income. It's how I financially provide for my girls. It's how I pay my utilities, their clothes, my husband's clothes, my clothes, our food, and to put my girls through school. This decision is not just about policy, it's affecting people like me who are part of the working class members of this parish earning an income to be able to support their families. I have chosen my occupation and the environment that I subject myself to, as we all should be able to. My customers are aware that I don't smoke, and they are very respectful about that when I serve them. I am concerned about what this ban will cause, as it will affect my income of the businesses due to less customers. My customers have already told me that they will not be coming if this does pass. That will change my income, and it will affect my tips. Once my income is affected, my children will suffer as well. I am asking you to please consider the reality of working parents in this industry. For a lot of us, it isn't about preference, but it's about financial stability and making sure we are able to provide for our children. I understand there are health concerns, and I have regard for them. Thank you for this opportunity to hear this side of the industry's voice heard before making a decision that can affect how some of us can provide for our family.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Sherry Broussard.
So, Ms. Carleen, please let the record reflect that Mr. Melvin re-entered chambers at 18:10 hours.
Got it. Ms. Sherry Broussard. Come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
My name is Sherry Broussard. I live at 189 Rue Chateau in Thibodaux. I am a neighbor to Mr. Knockin, and I support the drainage 5th Ward, by the way. Okay, today I'm here to talk briefly about the economic impact of tobacco ban. Supporters of smoke-free ordinances often argue that policies do not negatively affect local businesses. However, there are many studies that show differently. It's very common in communities where bars and gaming contribute significantly to the local economy. First, I'll talk about some big cities, and then we can talk about Louisiana. A post-ban analysis in New York reported 2,650 job losses, a loss of $50 million in worker earnings, and $71.5 million losses in gross state product sales. A study prepared for the city of Dallas found $11.8 million reduction in alcohol sales after the smoking ban took place. In Louisiana, reporting from the Greater Baton Rouge Business Bureau, it reported that a 30% decline in gaming revenue after the passage of the smoking ban there in Baton Rouge. Harris in New Orleans reported a $70 million loss after the Orleans Parish smoking ban. Local businesses in Lafourche Parish have reported drops as high as 50% of video poker revenue after going smoke-free. These are businesses that chose to do it on their own. These examples suggest that the economic impact of smoke-free policies may vary depending on the local economy. In areas like Lafourche Parish, where gaming revenue is an important revenue source. In 2025, Lafourche Parish received $2.9 million in gaming revenue, which supported essential public services. The Sheriff's Office and the District Attorney's Office rely on these funds for law enforcement, public safety, and victim services. A substantial decline in gaming and alcohol-related revenue could reduce funding available for infrastructure, policing, and community programs. Given these considerations, it is reasonable that we ask to reevaluate whether a parish-wide smoking ban is appropriate for our parish. We strongly believe that the rescission of the smoke-free ordinance may be the correct choice. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Donovan Freeman. Please state your name and address for the record, Mr. Freeman. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Donovan Freeman, 532 Good Street in Thibodeau. Good afternoon. Thank you, council, for everything y'all do for this parish and giving me the opportunity to speak today. I'm here respectfully asking you to reconsider and ultimately repeal the current smoke-free ordinance. Let me be clear. This is not about dismissing public health. It's about balance, personal choice, and economic reality. We have heard the primary arguments for those supporting a smoke-free ban. They claim this is not a matter of personal choice, but of creating shared spaces where everyone feels included. However, one of the most fundamental rights in our country is freedom to choose where we go and how we spend our money. Bars and casinos are fundamentally different from other public spaces. They are adult-only environments where patrons knowingly choose to go. Unlike workplaces, schools, or restaurants where families gather, these venues cater specifically to adults who understand the risks associated with smoking. We've also heard claims that smoke-free ordinances have not harmed some businesses and that bars have adjusted just fine. While that sounds reassuring, there are numerous examples, like we just heard, across the country and right here in Louisiana, where such bans have significantly negatively impacted small businesses and reduced local tax revenue. Bars and casinos operate in a highly competitive market. When neighboring parishes like Terrebonne allow smoking, customers just adapt, they just leave. That means lost revenue, reduced tips for workers, and ultimately lost jobs. Bar owners have invested their hard-earned money into the American dream to own their own businesses. They have done so with the expectations to cater to whatever clientele they choose. Elected officials deciding to remove those freedoms from small business owners is simply government overreach. The smoke lobby claims that they are here on the employees' behalf to protect their health. While that is a very important concern, many employees themselves has expressed that they do not feel represented by this position. For many, these policies could directly affect their income and job security. All restaurants in the parish of Lafourche are smoke-free, employing hundreds, and many of those have full-service bars inside of them. In addition, there are at least 13 smoke-free bars from Thibodeau all the way down to Galliano. All of these establishments require similar skill sets and experience, providing workers with viable alternatives if they prefer a smoke-free environment. They also provide patrons smoke-free options as well. This comes down to respecting individual freedom and local control. Business owners should have the right to set policies for their establishments, and patrons should have the right to choose where they spend their time and money. Employees are not forced to work at these establishments. If someone prefers to work in a smoke-free environment, there are plenty of options. The market can and will provide both. It is already happening. Let's support local businesses, protect jobs, and restore the ability for adults to make informed choices for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Can I add one more thing? On the discussion about the Shreveport, Lafourche Parish and my casinos for the COVID, our truck stops went extremely high after the COVID shutdown. So if casinos went down in Shreveport, it wasn't because of COVID. It was because of the smoke-free ban. Thank you.
So would anyone else from the public like to comment on this, this rescinding ordinance? Second call. Yes, ma'am, please come up. Just remember to state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Zena DeRocher, 601 Oak Street, Thibodeau. I own Zena's Place in Thibodeau. I am against it because our motto is we're friends or family. And I have been knowing these customers for 20-somewhat years. My daughter works there because she's going through college, who has a kid. I have my bartender who has 6 kids. Her husband is disabled right now. This is her first bartending job. She loves it. She doesn't even smoke. So not only if that would hurt us, but that would hurt my employees who don't smoke. I work with my girls, 6 kids. I need time off. You won't find that in another job. She loves the job. I support all the other bars around me, smoking or not smoking. I go downtown. I smoke, yes. And I go downtown knowing I can't smoke in there. I'll go play the machines. I'll go drink at the Goose. You know, I don't mind it. But don't take it away from the rest of us, please. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Oh, the last call for public input. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Lana Pennison. I am a bartender.
Please state your address for the record.
I'm sorry.
Just pick up on the minutes. It's okay.
I'm sorry,
It's okay.
302 Lafayette Avenue in Thibodeau. I am a bartender. I am a smoker. I work at Zena's. I'm listening to all the other side about protecting employees, the secondhand smoke that they have to breathe in a bar. I just want to say, you do not have to work in a bar. You can work in a restaurant that is smoke-free. You can work at a hospital that's smoke-free. You do not have to work in a bar. People who do not want to breathe secondhand smoke do not have to walk in to a smoking bar. They are choosing to walk into a bar where people are smoking. You have the option to go to a non-smoking bar. Like they said, there are 13 bars in Lafourche Parish. You can walk into any one of those. You do not have to be in a smoking bar. This should be our choice, just like it's theirs. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any last call? Anyone else? Yes, sir. Come on up. Just remember to state your name and address for the record, sir.
My name's Kevin Dorr. I live at 3609 LA1 in Raceland.
Thanks for letting me talk. I was a smoker, 52 years. I quit only a month ago. I still respect everybody's right to do what they want. I feel it's government overreach. Where does it end? If I want to propose an ordinance that people that are overweight in the parish have to go on a forced diet, are you gonna back me up? I just say, where does it end? It's too much government in personal life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, so with that said, council, press your button now if you plan on speaking. Miss Chesson, you have the floor first, ma'am.
I'll beat you. We're not here to vote for personal reasons. If it was, I know what my vote would be. My daddy was diagnosed in March of 2020 with lung cancer and passed in July of 2020. I wasn't elected to vote on my opinion and what I feel in my heart is right. But I did ask my constituents who voted me here. And their concern was the overreach of government, which is where I am with this. And also, I mean, have we talked to the sheriff's office? How would this even be enforced bar to bar, casino to casino? So anyway, I wanted to say that I'm here not on my own personal views on the smoking and non-smoking, but on what my constituents are asking of me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chesson. Mr. Adams.
So here's my problem with this whole thing. Tell you a story, not from 1985, but from December 9th, 2005. The ordinance was introduced. All right, the ordinance goes out publicly for everybody to see. On January 13th, it was voted on, but we pulled it. So that's another 2 weeks that the ordinance goes out for everybody to see. Again, on this January 27th, it was published again. That time it went out. So this is 2 months that this has been out there for everybody to see. So my problem is now all of a sudden everybody wants it repealed. Why? We voted yes on it. There were 7 yeses. So this tells me if they were worried about it, they would have read the ordinance. Nobody ordinance.
Sorry,
Where
ma'am.
was that?
Wait, the public no longer is speaking, ma'am. This is only amongst the council
It was
now.
posted. My problem is nobody read it because everybody passed it. My problem is now y'all calling them, and all they're concerned about it because the constituents are worried. If you look at it, there is 95,000 people in this parish. By statistics speaking, 14 to 20,000 people smoke. 72 don't. What about those 72,000 people that don't smoke? Again, so my whole problem is if you're going to worry and cater to this little bit amount of people, then what's the point? My problem now is this has been passed. Now it wants to be rescinded. That's the whole thing of it. So nobody read it. So the problem is now they're worried about y'all voting for him. Mitch was going to do it too because he was going to put it up there to pass it for because he wanted y'all votes. Mr. Day right there called me again because he was worried about it because he wanted y'all votes. My point is this passed and now they want to rescind it because they worried about votes. That's my whole problem. And then they had people abstain. So I tell you what, right now, we about to vote on this. You want to vote yeah, that means you care about this much of your parish. You want to vote no, you care about that much of your parish. If you abstain, my bad, you a bitch. Make a decision.
Ma'am, one more outburst, I will have to have you escorted out. I'm sorry, but I can't have that, okay? So I'm just asking for just a little bit of respect. We calm down. Sir, you're not at the mic, okay? Just keep your decorum. Let's just keep decorum here. Everybody. And 95% of y'all are, so thank you. With that said, Mr. Perk, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be the first to admit when this ordinance first came through, I read the ordinance and I looked at it that it entailed mostly public buildings relative to the parish, our parks, and didn't once consider casinos, bars, as well as also listed on that ordinance, which nobody's talked about, is private clubs. So what does a private club consist of? Is that a country club, right? Relative to where it's private, it could be a golf club, a country club where it's golf. And people pay dues to be in that club, and then we're telling them they can't smoke. So relative to I am in agreeance relative to the, number one, the overreach of government. Number two, when all of these businesses became established, they were on a certain amount, had certain guidelines, right? They invested money into these businesses with certain guidelines and certain restrictions. Now we're changing the rules of the game. And that's a little unfair for their investment. As a prior business owner, I get it, okay? Relative to people working in those facilities, that requires a certain skill set. And I tend to think that that particular skill set, if they choose to be in a non-smoking environment, they're free to do that. So, and to reiterate as well, this is totally going to rely on the sheriff's department, right? And so they barely have the resources to maintain the affairs that they currently have. So I'm not quite sure how they're going to be able to enforce this to begin with. So anyway, that's just my position. And look, if it's all about health, right, and if it's all about smoking, and I sympathize with Mr. Lynn, because I went through the same situation with my father. But if smoking is bad, and this is purely hypothetical, then you need to just pull cigarettes out of every place in the parish. Not sell it, no cigar bars, we can't pick and choose. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Perk. Mr. Melvin, you have the floor, sir.
Well, thanks again for y'all coming here tonight. Just for the record, I wasn't at the meeting that passed it. Does that mean I don't have a regret making a vote in the past? No, I'm not trying to throw any shade on my folks here, but we got to live with the things we do, whether it's smoking, drinking, making a bad vote, or what have you, no matter when it is. So I'll just tell you real briefly. My mom died of smoking, and I begged her to quit, and she never quit. That's her choice, right? I choose to go to non-smoking places. That's my choice. I don't really gamble. I might go to a casino once in 20 years, and it's usually to walk through it on a cruise boat to get the shortcut, okay? I do play the lottery every now and then, but my point being is that's my choice. And, last time I checked, gambling was addictive. Why don't we put the word depository at the end of every casino name? Because basically that's how I see it. That's why I don't gamble, okay? But I know that drunk driving, the same thing. It's also addictive. Do we ban cars? Do we ban alcohol? We all have choices. Again, they have consequences. And government, in my opinion, has its hands in everything. And I'm not a fan. I'm for limited government. I think that's the way the founders intended it. People are going to make choices. My wife's a respiratory therapist. You know what tracheotomy is when you got a tube coming out your throat? I mean, some people are still smoking with that. I'm sorry. Just you cannot control people. And I understand that I'm not a smoker. I never was. My immediate family doesn't smoke. I know with just government, they want to be into everything. Like I said, they want the air we breathe, banking, the weather, pharmaceuticals, medical, et cetera. So again, I'm going to vote to rescind tonight, and that's how I think I'd have voted back then, simply because I don't think it's government's place to tell a business owner what he can and can't do inside his establishment within legal limits. And we have to have building codes. We have to have floods so that people don't put a small culvert where they should have a big one that will affect people's drainage. There's things we have to do, okay? We have to have some semblance. But telling a business owner who gets the money or invests the money in a business and we do something that's going to drastically affect it, You know, I can't do that. And look, again, I'm a non-smoker. My mom died of smoking. Okay, I'm against smoking, but I'm not against business owners. Okay, there's a difference. So I'll just leave you with a quote from Ronald Reagan. He said, if government's view of the economy could be summed up in a few short phrases: if it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. If it stops moving, subsidize it.
Mr. Perk, you want to take the mic so I can have a few words? So as usual, I'm not real sure exactly what that meant, but over my head. But no, I respectfully I want to thank, because I don't have the mic now. I mean, I don't have the gavel. Vice Chair, Mr. Perk does. But I want to thank everyone that came out tonight, that kept their cool and spoke their piece. That's what this is supposed to be about. It's unfortunate. I know a few people kind of get real riled up, and it shouldn't be like that. For me, there's this debate, so profit versus health. That's kind of where we're at. And so I think for me, the whole government intervention shouldn't intervene is not valid. I mean, as a mother, I'd like to take a 10-year-old kid in the casino with her because she can't find a babysitter. So government absolutely has a place because that's what prevents exploitation. That's what creates the workplace, removes workplace hazards, et cetera. So I think there is. It's just a matter of how much. And I did a lot of research, as everyone else here probably did, because you don't ever want to make a vote on limited research. And all the numbers we heard from all these different cities, I can tell you that it was all across the board. So depending on who you pick from, we know that the country has been going to more of a smoke-free, but it depends on where you looked at the data from, the time frame of the data, and it's kind of all over the place. For me, the U.S. Surgeon General says that no amount of exposure to secondhand smoke is safe, and the only way to fully protect non-smokers from secondhand smoke is through 100% smoke-free indoor air environments. Okay, we don't go in there. Well, you know what? As a fire chief, I've had to go into casinos, and I've been exposed to smoke. So it's not valid that sometimes you don't have an option, because sometimes you don't. Communities that enact comprehensive smoke-free laws report up to a 17% reduction in hospital heart attack admissions compared with communities without such laws. So if you look at the research, there's a balance, and there's always going to be a balance, right? And so while I respect everybody's decision here, I think it's a really fine line. That's why people are probably real passionate. So however y'all vote, I just want everyone to know that I respect your decision, whatever way you go, and we have to move on beyond this. That's all I have, Mr. Perk.
Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, I just want to say that, first of all, I had voted for that, thinking similar to what Mr. I can't even remember his name, Martin. I thought it was parish buildings, so shame on me. But I just want to say, anytime you have a law, you can repeal it. It doesn't say that it can't be changed. You can change it. And I never smoked in my life. And it doesn't bother me, whoever wants to smoke, but it should be the business owner to make that decision, not the parish council. The people that have the business, if you want them to smoke, you let them smoke. If you don't, I walked into the bank the other day to cash a check, and they had a sign, no smoking. So I kind of told them ladies that were in there, I said, no smoking? She said, no, sir. I said, okay, no problem. But it was a warning. So, let government dig ditches, fix roads, and do what else they need to do, but stay out of personal business of people. And vote your conscience, gentlemen.
Very good, Mr. Lorraine. All right. With that said, no further discussion. We'll bring this to a vote. All in favor signify. This is to vote in favor is to vote to rescind the ordinance. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed say nay. Nay. Nays, raise your hand. So the motion to rescind passes by a vote of 6 yeas, 2 nays. Those nays being Councilman Oten and Councilman Adams, and one person has left the chamber, that being Mr. Pierce. Oh, good. All right. Once again, though, thank everyone for showing up tonight and saying your piece. We appreciate it. Y'all are welcome to walk out and not stay for the rest of the meeting if you're so interested. We'll wait a few seconds. Yeah, that's a good idea. So we have a motion by Councilman Perk to take a 10-minute break, second by Mr. Adams. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, and one person out of the chamber, that being Mr. Pierce. motion on the floor by Councilman Perk, seconded by Mr. Adams to resume regular agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays. One person that has left the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Oh, where were we? We only at 8?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Item 8, ordinance approving a pump station access, drainage, and maintenance servitude agreement between Jenna C. Bearden and Lafourche Parish Government in the Houma area and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of administration, second by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 8? Second call, public input on ordinance at number 8. Last and final call. Would anyone from the public like to comment on ordinance at number 8? Anyone from the council? Mr. Perk and then Mr. Adams. Yes, ma'am. There's no discussion. We'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays. One person that has left the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item 9, ordinance approving a pump station access, drainage, and maintenance servitude agreement between Lac Long LLC and Lafourche Parish Government in the Houma area and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 9? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 9. Last and final call. Would anyone from the public like to comment on this ordinance? Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays. One person that has left the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item 10, ordinance amending and reenacting Chapter 34 of the Lafourche Parish Code of Ordinances as it pertains to special districts and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 10? Second call. Yes, ma'am. Please come up to the mic, state your name and address for the record. Item 10.
Nancy Oden, 275 Donald Drive, and
Miss Rachel, thank you. You good?
this.
You good? She
You
has
did
it.
it? You
She's
good.
got it.
Okay, thank you. Nancy Oden, 275 Donald Drive, Thibodeau. I would just like to clarify, what is a special district?
The amending, does someone want to answer that? Parish president is going to answer that question for you, ma'am. You have the mic, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. GOSEP requires us to have an advisory board that is comprised of several public officials to advise on our emergency preparedness and our plans, and we are simply putting it into ordinance as a requirement of our charter and state statute.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone else from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 10? Anyone from the council? There be none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays. One person has left the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item 11, ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the lease agreement between Landmark Outdoors LLC and Lafourche Parish Government at 206 Green Street, Suite B and Suite C, Thibodeau, Louisiana, authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 11? Second call, public input, the ordinance at number 11. Last and final call. Anyone from the public like to comment on ordinance at number 11? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays. One person has left the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item 12, ordinance accepting the subdivision known as Cane Ridge Phase 3 into the parish system upon completion of Section 1 below. Mr. Perk for administration, second by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 12? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 12. Last and final call. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 12? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays. One person left the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. I'll now entertain a motion to close public hearing. So moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Brumfield. All in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays. One person leaving the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item I, proposed ordinances. Mr. Perk, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Number 13, proposed ordinance approving the holding of an election in Hospital Service District Number 2 of the Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026, to authorize the renewal of a special tax therein Chairman Otam for the administration. Number 14, a proposed ordinance approving a purchase agreement between the Lafourche Parish Government and Valentine Realty LLC to purchase the property located at Highway 308, lot south of Parish Bourne in Lockport, Louisiana, in the total amount of $151,000, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Chairman Otam for the administration. Number 15, a proposed ordinance providing for a 2026 supplemental appropriation 26-002 within the 2026 operations and maintenance budget to cover the shortfalls after carry forwards, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Chairman Otam for the administration, and that is it for proposed ordinances, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Perk. Item J, resolutions. Number 16, resolution approving agreement between the Division of Administration and Lafourche Parish Government for the fiscal year 2024-2025 Local Government Assistance Program for the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person leaving the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item 17, resolution approving amendment number 2 to the agreement between Tetra Tech Incorporated and Lafourche Parish Government for contracted services relative to monitoring of disaster-generated debris removal, management, and technical assistance, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person out of chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item 18, resolution approving a grant application to the Bureau of Justice Assistance of the Office of Justice Programs of the U.S. Department of Justice for the fiscal year 2025 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, JAG program, to supplement overtime compensation for drug-related investigations, and authorize the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Mr. Adams on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
I just want to thank the Sheriff's Office for their relentless work as it relates to that and working with us so we can help get these grants for them.
All right. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person leaving the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item 19, resolution approving agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Terracon Consultants Incorporated to provide professional environmental services related to Lafourche Parish's brownfield inventory assessment and cleanup activities for Racine and Lockport, Louisiana through its 2025 EPA Brownfield Assessment Grant, authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Ms. Shessel. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person leaving the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item 20, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Bissell Pet Foundation for funding of wellness veterinary services at Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter and in the community, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Brumfield for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person leaving the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item 21, resolution approving agreement between Crescent Multimedia Solutions and Lafourche Parish Government for audio and visual courtroom systems in the Matthews Complex Training Room and room number 615, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item is tied to the new audiovisual systems that's going to be in the historic courthouse, but it's also going to be here. And the reason why we're doing it now is because the historic courthouse occupants are going to be operating out of our office here when we take that building out of service very shortly. So I really appreciate it if y'all approve this so we can get it underway.
Very good. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person leaving the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item 22, resolution approving change order number 3 for the project titled Alidor Drainage Improvements Project Phase 2, increasing the contract price by $15,073.76 and authorizing the parish president to sign and execute and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed, 8 yeas, 0 nays, one person leaving chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item 23, resolution authorizing the removal and approval of individuals who shall have authority to sign for all accounts dealing with the Fifth Ward Gravity Drainage District Number 5, and authorizing the parish president to sign and execute and administer any and all relevant documents. Mr. Melvin for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Discussion. Mr. Melvin, you have the floor first, sir.
Yes, I had a question for administration. Mr. President, I have a couple questions about this. I know that there was some concerns, because I received a few calls from folks who aren't here as well about this, because they, we love the Fifth Ward. And my first question is, does this resolution affect in any way the nomination or appointment process of putting people or removing members of the Fifth Ward Drainage District from council's purview, being, we nominate and put on the board? Does it affect it? And also, does this resolution dissolve the Fifth Ward Drainage District? And the reason I'm asking is I'd like to amend and just put the word financial in front of all, in between all and accounts on the third whereas, but you can go ahead and answer those first, please, sir.
All right. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
So the answer to number 1 is no, and the answer to number 2 is no. And secondly, the only way we could change anything specific to the Fifth Ward, whether it's appointments of individuals or how the board functions, would require an ordinance, because that is within our body of law. And I would like to take you to the resolution itself, which specifically states that in the whereas it is to remove the signatories on the checking account and to place myself, the parish administrator, and the finance director, so we can actually continue to pay the bills, because the board themselves said that they did not want to continue handling that. There's only but a few dollars, right at $200 left in the checking account. This by no means affects the board as it sits. They still will continue to have members. Those members will still continue to serve at the pleasure of the council, and they still exist within our ordinance. That has not changed. I'm certainly not proposing that there be any changes at all. They've turned over their checkbook to us with the expectation that we handle it. There's some checks that need to be deposited, some reimbursement checks from one Entergy and 2 from an insurance company that needs to be deposited in the checking account, and that's waiting, and we've got a couple of expenses that need to be paid. And this resolution will allow us to be able to do that. That is it. We have no intention, as from the administration anyway, to make any other changes or impact the drainage district at all. I have no intentions of doing that. In fact, and I've told you that, Mr. Melvin, that if they wish to put their tax back on the ballot, they are welcome to do that. I certainly wouldn't stand before it. And I can tell you that if the council passed it, that is considered a non-veto item, and I would not be able to veto it. I certainly would not campaign against it. So I wanted that to be on the record as well. I know that there were some other questions that were brought up by the folks that had made public comment and were wondering about why people were being removed, et cetera. There was no one being removed. It is 100% because the board passed a resolution for us to be able to handle the checkbook. And that's what this resolution allows. And the only way the bank will allow it is if we have a resolution by the governing authority stipulating us to sign those checks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Melvin?
Yes, sir. Well, I would just, their peace of mind, I would just like to add the word financial in between the word all and accounts on the third whereas. Say again?
You have to write whatever you write down, and then make sure everybody's clear on what he's talking about.
There you go. You better write something else with that in there. I want to write it. It's the third whereas.
It could be otherwise, is that the debate? Give us a minute, or I think he's right, in a couple of places. Yeah, there's a bunch of accounts, but would there be any other account beside financial? I guess that's what I don't understand. It would only be financial, there's no other accounts, or is there something? Mr. President?
The only other issue that would affect is if we needed to close an Entergy account or an insurance account. So if the board would continue to handle those responsibilities, that'll be fine. Otherwise, I see it as a friendly amendment. But if they are expecting us to handle any of the insurance stuff, they're going to have to go back and handle that, so. We want to be cooperative, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
So I think we're identifying 3 or 4 different areas that we would have to adjust. And y'all don't want to pull it and just redo the resolution? I mean, it'll come right back up at the next meeting if so. It's up to y'all. Oh, bills got to be paid. No, we don't do it. No, there's another one down there. There's a few. While he's figuring it out, Mr. Lorraine, go ahead.
Legally, this drainage district is still into effect until 2027.
That's what the parish president said, yep.
What they did, the boundaries of that district tax was Lafourche Crossing to the Assumption Parish line on 308 only till about not quite the 80 orbits. Those were the only people that could change this call. What they did, they made it parish-wide, which was illegal. It's illegal. I don't know when they're going to figure that out. What they did was illegal. And I'm not blaming Mitch. I'm blaming AC3, whoever, y'all know who that is. He was the one in charge. You cannot take a district tax and make a parish-wide tax, and that's what they did. And it's illegal, and it was wrong. And now you saying you want another tax? Huh. Don't forget what this council did now. They let it go, which they should have never done that. Drainage District 1, Drainage District 5, and Road Sales Tax 2 should be in existence until 227, not 223. But that's the way it goes. And what they did is not right. Imagine from Lafourche Crossing all the way to the parish line, I wonder how many ditches the parish dug since 223 in that area. Probably not one. And you're going to inherit all that? You better have more than some equipment.
All right, so we have an amendment from the floor by Mr. Melvin. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Perk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for clarification, if we put that financial, you were saying that, clarify what you said, that relative to, that would mean they would still take care of other things? Help me out here, Mitch, make sure we got.
All right, Mr. President, you have the floor again, sir.
I'm fine with leaving it that way, but my only concern is if we need to cancel an insurance policy, or there may be some other policy that comes up that they may, after speaking with a couple of members that had come and visited with us when we went through this, they said, we don't want to handle this anymore. We just want to be an advisory group. So if this limits us, we may very well be back here having that same conversation. So if you want to put that in there, we may be going back to the board to handle certain items. That's what I'm getting at. That's all.
I follow you.
Because you're narrowing the scope.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Perk, any other follow-ups? Okay. All right, so you have, So you want to make this, you want me to read your amendment? All right, so we have an amendment from the floor. Unfortunately, I'll have to read it because there's several different interjections of the interjections that are wanting to make. So, a resolution authorizing removal and approval of individuals who shall have authority to sign for all adding financial accounts dealing with the Fifth Ward Gravity Drainage District Number 5 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Whereas resolution number 26-0080 approved an agreement between Fifth Ward Gravity Drainage District Number 5 and Lafourche Parish Government to assume the board's outstanding debts, and whereas Dennis Martinez, Randall Benoit, and William McKee are hereby removed as authorized signers for the Fifth Ward Gravity Drainage District Number 5, and whereas Parish President Mitchell Osborne, Parish Administrator Deanna Lafont, and Finance Director Renita Jackson are hereby authorized to sign for all interjecting here financial accounts dealing with the Fifth Ward Gravity Drainage District Number 5, effective March 26, 2026, and whereas this resolution was sponsored for administration by Mr. Aaron Melvin, Councilman District 4, and whereas it is recommended by the administration that the council authorizes the removal and approval of individuals who shall have authority to sign for all interjecting financial accounts dealing with the Fifth Ward Gravity Drainage District Number 5, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Therefore, be it resolved that Lafourche Parish Council convene in regular session on April 28, 2026, and hereby authorizes the removal and approval of individuals who shall have authority to sign for all interjecting here financial accounts dealing with the Fifth Ward Gravity Drainage District Number 5, and authorizes the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. And that, sir, is your amendment from the floor, second by, someone want to second that? Mr. Perk seconds that. So now we are going to only vote on the amendments, which is the adding of all the financials and making it a little more narrow range. I think if I understood. Is everybody clear? Anybody has any discussion, questions on that? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Nay. Nays, raise your hand. So the motion failed, the amendment, I'm sorry, fails. It'll be easy to say the yeas. The yeas were Araby, Melvin, and Brumfield. So we had 3 yeas.
They were nay.
Yeah, you and nay or yay? Nay. Nay, all right, sorry. So Mr. Melvin and Brumfield were yeas. 2 yeas, those being Mr. Melvin and Mr. Brumfield. 6 nays. 1 person having left the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce.
You were yay.
All right. All right, so for the record, we had 3 yeas, that being Mr. Melvin, Mr. Perk, and Mr. Brumfield. We had 5 nays, 1 person leaving the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. So the amendment fails. Now, back to the original resolution. Any discussion? Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Either way, whether the amendment passed or failed, didn't matter. We were going to cooperate with those folks. The biggest thing is that if we did narrow the scope and there was something that needed to be handled, that those individuals would do so. We still will communicate with the board anyway, Bo, and if there's anything that they need from us, I believe it's a two-way street. So just want to be able to get the bills paid and continue to move forward with this. Thank you.
Okay, with that said, we'll bring it to a vote. The original resolution, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 6 yeas, 2 nays, those nays being Mr. Lorraine and Mr. Araby. And you're a nay also? Okay.
I thought it was the only one.
So the motion,
That's on 23, right?
yes, sir. This is one exhausting meeting. So the motion passes with 5 yeas, 3 nays, that being Mr. Lorraine, Mr. Araby, and Mr. Melvin, and 1 person leaving the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. You got all that? Sorry for such a tough night. All right. Brings us to item 24, resolution reappointing 1 member to the Housing Authority of the Lafourche Parish Board, Mr. Araby for the administration. And who do you have? TA. Press your button, TA. You got it.
One reappointment, Ms. Catherine Beeman.
Can I get a second for Ms. Beeman? Second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 person leaving the chambers, that being Mr. Pierce. Item K, Parish President, Department Heads, Directors, or Managers' Reports, Presentations, and/or Updates. Item 25, Finance Representative to present the monthly financial report as required by the state agreed-upon procedures for March 2026. Mr. President, you want to have a comment? You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As per our usual process, we sent it to you already, but of course, if you have any questions, please reach out to us.
Thank you, sir. That brings us to item L, questions for the administration. Questions for the administration? Okay, brings us to item M, discussion. Any open discussion? Ms. Chesson, you have the floor first, ma'am.
On this Thursday, April 30th, is $25 per cat. It's Lafourche Parish Cat Spay Neuter event. Bring cats in a secure carrier or live trap. Drop-off is 8:30 to 10:30 at the Cutoff Youth Center. It's 205 West 79th Street. All services include spay and neuter, pain management, RCP vaccine, rabies vaccine, microchip, and tattoo. Cats and traps will be ear-tipped. Appointments for pet cats are available. Get with the shelter. No appointment needed for pregnant, hard-to-catch, or trapped cats. Also on Friday, it's a free dog vaccine and microchip event. Friday, May 1st, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. This is a drive-through style. It includes the DA2PP vaccine, rabies vaccine, and microchip. So that's this Thursday and Friday at the Cutoff Youth Center.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Chesson. Mr. Brumfield, you have the floor, sir.
I just wanted to publicly thank Ms. Jennifer in Recreation for what she did for District 1.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Pert.
Yes, just real quick, kudos to our chairperson from tonight's meeting. I know it was a lot, so.
I'll just
thanks.
comment that I'm glad the four-way stop was on you and not DeJay, because that would have been more stressful for me. True story.
Took it for the team, so. And then, also, I think Bo may elaborate about your visit to the Capitol today. You'll talk about that. Great. Thank you for doing that, Bo, and representing the parish. And then thirdly, and by not least, Thibodeau Farmers Fair, starting this Thursday evening, April 30th, through Sunday evening. So bands every night and great entertainment, rides, the parade through downtown Thibodeau to the fairgrounds is at 11 a.m., starting 11 a.m. on Sunday morning. So we'd love to see everybody out there and come support our Thibodeau firemen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Pert. Mr. Melvin.
Yes, thank you. I'll be brief. I went to the Capitol this morning real early to help support Bill 997 by Kathy Edmonston out of Gonzales, which would have given us the option to advertise everything and publish on our website. Right now, due to state law, we have to advertise in the Parish Journal, which a lot of folks don't know out there. And I understand why, because back then people had newspapers. That was the best way to communicate. Well, now, we communicate everywhere else now, and the comment's hard to find. You have to go like to Walgreens to even find it. Sometimes there's mistakes made, and there's a timeline thing, and we're held liable if something's wrong. So they had the head of the police jury there, and some other folks. The mayor of Thibodeau was there, and some other mayors and council people. And you can watch it. I'll put up a link for it later. But the FARs for the pro bill were very good arguments, and the media, news media got up there and they maybe spent 15 minutes and killed it like that fast. You got to wonder why, you know. I said, why don't we keep the money in Lafourche and in other parishes rather than send it to a bank in New York where the newspaper is or in Los Angeles? They didn't want to hear that. They'd rather send tax dollars out of the state, and that's what the message I got. Okay, supposedly there's something else in the works where we can do something for free in the future, but they've been working on the future for years now. So it failed. It didn't get out of committee, so the legislature can't vote on it. So we're still on the hook to pay the daily comment and every other. We spend $100,000 in the parish about a year on that, okay? And that doesn't count the school board, and it doesn't count the city of Thibodeau, all right? I know Ascension spends $100,000 a year. That's $100,000 we can keep in the parish. But the legislator said, see you later.
Yeah, it couldn't be said any better than that, Mr. Melvin. That's unbelievable. Mr. Adams, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, I want to let everybody know about the first annual Youth Fishing Rodeo free. It's a free registration. You can go register. It's May 16th at the LaRose boat launch. You come in there in the morning, you're gonna check in, but you can go register. You can register at the Thibodeau Tackle, Trudy's Restaurant, Knuckles Discount, Lafourche Parish Government Offices in Thibodeau and Raceland. Again, this is May 16th, and it's our first annual Ute Rodeo. LaRousse boat launch, 135 Lafourche Lane in Thibodeau. I will let everybody know again next meeting. But yeah, it's the first time, and hope to see people there.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Mr. Lorraine.
Yes, I just want to let the people know that starting Saturday, May the 2nd to May the 9th, excluding Sunday, that early voting will start. And there's a few things on the ballot, but you got interim parish president Mitch Ogeron running, you got Elliot Spanky D running, and you got Tommy Lassane. That's your three candidates running for parish president. And you have other things with the library, the senior citizen, I think 5 amendments with the state, and you have a Senate statewide. So just go vote.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Araby.
I just want to thank Raceland Sugars for redoing that bridge, Ontario Canal in Raceland, going to Lake Buff. We've been having some issues with that, and they took up, got a contract and went in there and put a whole new bridge, and I understand it's about 5 inch higher than the railroad bridge, which is great, and it's wider. So again, I want to publicly thank Raceland Sugars for taking care of that.
Thank you, Mr. Araby. I'll add to that. Special thanks to Mr. Dan DePlantis Jr. of Raceland Sugars, because he hosted Visiting Queens for the recent festival. This is the off-season for the mill, so it was kind of not very convenient for them, but he made do, and all the Visiting Queens were able to see that site, and a lot of great comments, so very much thanks to them. I want to publicly thank all the individuals that participated in the Buy Lafourche annual cleanup, sponsored by a few different agencies. There was a large amount of trash, a lot of boats, tires poured out the bayou. Hopefully the Bayou Lafourche Freshwater District can kind of step up and start keeping it a little better than what we have for the last few years. Lastly, it's kind of hard to say this, but the Bayou Lafourche Folklife and Heritage Museum, located in the town of Lockport, is having a crawfish etouffee platter fundraiser from 11 a.m. to noon, $15 a plate, and they located at 110 Main Street in Lockport. If you've never been to that museum, it's a neat little museum about local history. Tomorrow, crawfish etouffee, plate lunch, got coleslaw, bread, dessert, and they don't typically do many fundraisers, so this is pretty significant for them. With that said, Mr. Parish President, you have the last word, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to thank all of the public for those that came out to Household Hazardous Waste this past Saturday. We usually average 140 vehicles that come through the line. This past week, and we had over 250 vehicles come through the line. It was the largest ever. We should, in the next 2 weeks or so, get all the statistics back so we can take a look at it and see how well we did. I can tell you tires was a big deal. I know you, Mr. Chairman, was also instrumental in picking up a lot of tires. Thank you with the cleanup that you did there. And we did fill up a whole container of tires. I don't have those numbers, but I can tell you before that, since Hurricane Ida and previous to this past weekend, we've picked up over 5,500 tires across Lafourche Parish. That is significant, but it's better than it being on the side of the road. And we're going to continue to fight those issues. But thank you for all the hard work you did over the weekend.
Oh, very good. And look, kudos to them, those employees that come out and work that Saturday. That's a rough day, and people are impatient having to wait in line. And yeah, I think we sent about 200. I sent about 200 tires to you, so I know that someone had to offload that. Thanks to the sheriff for the inmates, et cetera, and especially the Lafourche Parish government employees. With that said, however, we will move to item in adjournment, and a motion by Mr. Adams and second by Mr. Perk. And with no further business, the Lafourche Parish Council regular meeting of April 28, 2026 will be adjourned at, give me 1 second, 19:23 hours. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 person stepping out of chambers, that being Mr. Pierce.